Up since 5:15, hit the track early, got my laps in, almost to 10. Well, this is for my crew who's out of Monday morning rant like, "Oh man, I don't want to go back to work. Oh man, this is going on, that's going on. I gotta do this." You gotta do everything you don't want to do. And that's a tough spot to be in. I'm gonna tell you. I remember when I was there, you know. And I still at days I challenge. Like I didn't want to get up and work this weekend, but it's all cool because you know what? God woke me up and He gave me strength and the ability to go forth into the day. So I've already accomplished almost over 10,000 steps. Went on over, had another appointment, knocked that out, went over to the Trader Joe's. I'm eating in a calorie deficit, trying to eat better, getting my body back in alignment where it should have been. Had a couple of weeks ago, I went out to Ohio to my granddaughter's graduation, had a wonderful time. A lot of events, a lot of family, all the family came through. It was a blessing. But I want to share with you this morning when you're going through it and you don't know what to do. And you're gonna say, Miss Byrne, for some of y'all, I do that, but things still don't work out. Well, I'm looking at my 18-year-old who graduated, and I'm looking at her. She doesn't want to go to college. That's not her thing. She did that college program when she was in high school, the dual program. And, she was kind of like, I don't want to do that, mom, anymore. So right now she's testing the waters where a lot of us end up when we're young, 18. I'm looking at the kids in school, going back and forth young and remembering. I went by my old alma mater this morning and I was seeing the kids walking out. Wow. I was like, wow, over 40 years ago, plus almost 50 years, that was me walking past the school, walking to the store, to the mall, because it's right next door to the school I went to. But, not really having any directions for life. But I want to encourage you, younger generation, that when you don't have a plan for your life, you end up doing anything. You could look at your friends, you could look at the people around you, but if none of them really had a life plan, then you end up just doing whatever, taking falls in front of you or whatever you see. You end up drifting with people you really shouldn't be with, drifting in directions that really doesn't gain you ground. Am I going to say college is the way? I can't say that for everyone because it's not for everyone. Can I say just working at for somebody else is the way? I'm gonna say that's not for everybody. But having a structure and what's gonna take and benefit you going for. When you get older and stuff, and you're young, older, you'll look back one day. You'll go, "What did I do with my younger years? Did I invest in my time wisely? What did I do with my time?" It's so important that you begin to look at your life, saying, "What am I gonna fill my time with?" I don't care what it is. Your parents may say, do this, do that. You're gifted here, gifted there. A lot of people are into the athletics or they're look checking or rooting for people. But I want you to begin to root for yourself in the spirit of getting a plan, write it down on paper. I don't care if you just want to be a millionaire, write it down. But then you have to get a plan. How am I going to become a millionaire? No longer is it really millionaire status. It's um, billionaires and trillionaires. But then my question is, when you get all of that money, what are you going to do with? I'm going to keep it and do what with it? Are you going to invest it for just you, or are you going to invest it in making the world a better place? Then how are you going to make it a better place? At that graduation, I had an opportunity to meet with a young lady, and I asked her what her plans are, and she told me her plans were to open a bar. It caught me off guard because I didn't expect that coming from a 17-year-old, but that's what she's been around in her culture, where she's grown up in that atmosphere of where her mother was in her atmosphere. Where that was, I don't know. But looking at just the presentation, how we present to people, you kind of gonna say, okay. So I'm saying to myself, I still was ministering to her about her own personal life, who she was as a person, who she is as a person. There's so much in life. You gotta get up, you gotta move, go places. There's monuments to visit, there's museums to visit, just going to some of the events that you see good and great things. Look at the business owners. You could own a business. You could do art. You could do all kind of things and get your vendor's license, your art license. Begin to look long term. What am I going to be doing in the next 5 years? What am I going to be doing at the end of this year? Begin to look around and say, do I want to be looking like that, acting like that, conducting myself like that in 5 years, in a year? You have to begin to plan. See, I didn't really have any direction per se or any mentoring or coaching as I grew up and I moved around. My mom was a businesswoman. She was learning as she went. So I don't know what her mindset was, and I couldn't speak on this. I know she wanted more from me and my siblings, but it wasn't until I came into God. Yes, I'm gonna say God, because that's my foundation of my heart. That is the person who began to put in me a vision for more in my life. I could do more, I can be more, I can grow more, I can live in peace. There's a lot of people living in this world, y'all. They don't have no peace. They don't have no peace. Look around the people. They're worrying, they're stressed, they're uncomfortable. You snap at them or they snap at you, they cussing at you, they drinking, they're using all of these different things, but there's no peace in their heart because you didn't start off on an even keel. What even kill, Miss Byrne? You didn't start off from a place of victory. You started from a place of looking around what other people were doing and not having a wherewithal. That's the planes flying over. There's an airport close by me, but having the wherewithal to really begin to investigate directions in life. How do people get to the place they are? Everybody doesn't go to college and get these degrees. And then a lot of people go to college and get degrees, and the degrees aren't worthless. And they don't come back and say, I didn't do anything with the degree I got that caused my financial situation to grow. That's a question for you. If you're going to invest money, get a student loan or something like that, ask yourself, what am I going to do once I graduate? You say get a job, but then you got to look at the job and say, do you want to be doing that in 5 years once you graduate? I'm not discouraging you. I'm encouraging you to do the work before you invest and put in money into something you don't know the return. You don't even know if your heart's going to be there. You don't know the people, everything affects something else. The people we associate with, the people we're around, the mindset, the relationships. Am I going to be married? What is my husband's mindset on growth and development? All of that affects your life. And people don't talk about that until they in it. They might come out talking about it if their marriage survives, but then on the other side is, did you wait? Did you see if marriage was for you, or did you just do it because your girlfriend Sherry or Betsy did it? How did they turn out? What did they marriage? Without God being the foundation of your life, I found that out. And it took a lot of years because I had did a lot of things that because of what I saw other people doing, but I never took the time or was never taught to look at the outcome of what investment, whatever it is, whether it's college, whether it's working for yourself, starting your own business, being a stay-at-home wife. What is going to be the outcome of down the road of the return of the time? Time is an investment, y'all. So you might say, Miss Fern, is it really? Yeah, sit down. Let 5 minutes go by and say, what did I do in those 5 minutes? I'm getting ready to go up in here and work on some guides. I got some guides that I've already written, but get them out there. There's one guide is on reselling. A lot of people are going through financially. Even if you're not going through financially, you might want to do a business of reselling. Sometimes it costs a lot of money and investment to get new merchandise. You could use old merchandise, but then how do you use it? So I have a guide on how to resell with what you already own to earn money. Then I have a guide on street vending. I did street vending for a number of years. How to start a street vending business that's profitable, one that's going to take and bring you forward. Having had the experience of being around in a ministry that had a street vending business, and street vending can be so many different components with so many different items. You can do it. And you can start with almost little or no money. So I want to encourage you today to start thinking about your investment of time in your life. day by day, year by year, week by week, month by month, because the time is an investment. Your time is valuable. You're important. Don't waste your time hanging out, doing things, thinking it's just going to pop up, and you got to put work, discipline, consistency, effort into making a better life for yourself. Because if you don't, you're going to end up where just so many people end up nowhere. But you got to have a plan. I'm learning this. I'm being older now, but I'm learning this over time, of the time that I value and I put into what I'm doing. What is going to be my return? What is going to be your return? I want you to think about this as you go through the day. I want you to be encouraged, because you know what? You don't have to stay where you are. You could have a good job and still do even better. You can start building so that you can start and you can get 100% of the return based on what you put in every day. If you can go and work for someone else, guess what? You can go and work for yourself. You just have to learn it. You have to learn it, or even just advance in your maybe a higher position in the company. You can do it. There's promotions every day. I hear so many stories of how people started in packaging in the office, the back office, and shipping, and they grew their way up to be presidents of companies. Do the research. But this is Miss Fern from FML Diversify. I want you to be encouraged. Come back, let me know. I'm going to be hosting a class, and I want you to come and learn about how to take and build your business to help yourself and your family go forward. Again, if you're interested, I want you to put it in the comment. Miss Fern, I want you to do a class on how to build a business with what I have, so I can earn a any day, and I will be talking to you later. This is Miss Fern from FML Diversify. Be encouraged and go forward. Bye bye.